Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Practical Astrology for You. This is Miriam, psychological astrologer, and today I want to talk about Boris Johnson. I guess I've been avoiding this over the past couple of days, or maybe like most recent weeks. There's been so much commotion and so much media attention all around these Partygate scandals. Apparently, the Prime Minister and people around him, as ministers, government officials, have had a few too many parties during the lockdowns, and that doesn't sit too well with the British public, I suppose. So there have been quite a few people, including in his own Tory party, that are calling for his resignation. And yeah, I guess be interesting to see what the stars have to say about this. So is it likely that the Prime Minister will have to succumb to public pressure, or pressure within his party, obviously the opposition party as well? Or are the stars rather in favor of him? Okay, so let's have a look at his chart. So we've got inner wheel is Boris Johnson natal chart, and the outer wheel, the transits, like what's going on right now. So just a quick overview. Boris Johnson is a Gemini sun, Sun-Venus conjunction in the 9th house. He's a Libra rising, and his moon is in Scorpio in the 1st. So first of all, what's really striking is transiting Venus here. So transiting Venus is very close to his natal IC, and Venus is his chart ruler, so it's a very important planet in his chart. So Venus has been retrograde until very recently, and Venus is actually right now, I think it's like almost exact to the minute, in a square to the ascendant, which she rules. Venus rules the ascendant. So I think this is a brilliant, and it's also in Capricorn, which is all about integrity and being reliable, being truthful, being someone that you can trust and respect. That's what Capricorn is about. And Venus is a planet of values. Even though this is a Libra rising, and Venus obviously has more to do with the area of values, valuing things, also self-worth, when it's connected to the sign of Taurus. But still, Venus is an indicator of our values, and Capricorn is the number one sign of principles, really. So Venus in Capricorn has really high standards, yeah, in terms of telling, people telling the truth, being able to trust, just knowing that you can actually trust someone's word, basically. I think this is one factor. So Venus is squaring his ascendant. So I think this is a brilliant reflection about, this discussion about the current situation, where interestingly, people in his own party have said, like, you can stay, but we want you to go back and express, or we want you to go back to and express the true conservative values. That's actually I think one of the headlines I've read. I said, oh, that's interesting, let's have a look at that. And I said, okay, so Venus is squaring his ascendant, and we could say this is an expression of exactly that, where people are calling for him. You know, it's questioning. It's like, are you willing? Are you prepared to go back to your old ways as well? So Venus in Capricorn, that is all about conservative values and standing behind that and being like 100% about that. So there's no chance of, you know, escaping that. So obviously, I mean, you have to face up to the truth. You have to probably admit your mistakes. It's also a very Capricorn thing. So that'll be that's a quite difficult position right now. But if we look at the current transits, it actually looks really, really good for Boris Johnson. Especially if we look at transiting Jupiter. Can see Jupiter is here currently, just past 6 degrees of Pisces, and has just passed his natal Saturn as well, interestingly, and that rules the IC. So planets on the axis or axis rulers are always very important when they are triggered. So and Saturn in the fifth is also about, like, are you actually still kind of like good enough to be in the spotlight? Are you still good enough to be a representative, someone that we can see as our leader, someone that we could look up to? Obviously Saturn in Pisces, probably not the strongest leadership that I've seen in a chart, especially not of a politician. So, but I think Jupiter now represents this kind of opportunity to just maybe own up to his mistakes, his weaknesses, and say, right, you know, I've messed up, but perhaps there is another chance. Jupiter also activates the opposition to Uranus, so I think this is also a brilliant reflection of, you know, what's at stake here, all the commotion, the upheaval and confusion, and what's been going on, and should he stay or should he go? You know, with Saturn, Uranus, it's like there's a stability here, and there's like this energy of Uranus that could just end everything, like just like that, in the blink of an eye, basically. So I think Jupiter is representing opportunities now. Jupiter moves very fast, so before May it will aspect his natal Jupiter, and also Mercury, the Sun, and Venus, and Neptune, and Pluto. So there's quite a lot of Jupiter activation. So I think that will open some doors, that will give him the opportunity to prove that there is still room to grow, that there is still, that people can still put their hopes and their faith in him, and that he could still prove to the public that he would still be worthy of their trust, by just turning things around, getting stuff done, and just basically really returning to his old values, and acting according to that. I think this is what Jupiter will do in a square. Jupiter square the Sun will be a strong push towards that direction. So so you have to show some real personality here. You have to bring out the best in you. I think this is it will be a very strong trigger, and will come up quite soon. So before May, before that also Mercury is obviously important, rules his Sun, Gemini Sun, and yeah, Jupiter will also oppose Pluto in the 11th house, So there's probably still a lot of people that are very suspicious, a lot of people that really want to get to the bottom of that, what really find out what was going on, all these party shenanigans and whatnot. Um, and maybe there will some stuff will be revealed and people will not like it and will be very public. Pluto likes a good scandal, we know. um, but maybe he can prove that that he still has guts to just move past that and stay strong and just carry on. Also, Jupiter obviously will be sextile Jupiter. Jupiter natally rules the third house of communication, is in the eighth, so maybe you have to, admit a couple of things. Also, later in the year, transiting Uranus will also aspect Jupiter. So maybe there will be also some later like revelations. There's currently this Partygate investigation going on, and whatever comes up to the surface there in the eighth house, probably some not so nice things. But maybe that is necessary. Maybe it's just he needs to move past that and just to try to kind of close a chapter in a way as well, right? So if we talk about closing a chapter, obviously the planet, sorry, the planet we are thinking about is Saturn. Saturn is the one, and Saturn is actually doing quite a few good things in his chart as well. So it's currently squaring. It's exactly squaring his natal Neptune. Yeah, can you see that here? 15 degrees. Scorpio, Aquarius. And this Neptune probably in the second house of values, by the way, is probably right. You have to just reveal yourself. Just be truthful. Tell people the truth and don't try to hide anything that is already in plain sight anyways. Yeah, so don't take people for fools, I think. So Saturn is always yeah, sometimes it's an invitation, sometimes it's not so nice. It doesn't feel so nice. It's really, you have to get your act together. So probably this Neptune needs to end his, deceptive ways and try to defend himself when it's already clear that there is that stuff has been going on that was not allowed, or it was some sort of cheeky, secretive things going on, and everybody knows already, and just have to stop playing the innocent victim, like, saying, oh, I didn't know that I broke any rules, or I didn't know this, or I didn't know this was allowed, or something. It's quite silly. And Saturn is a planet, it tells us, right, you have to really act in a mature way, and it does not tolerate childish behavior, right? But Saturn is going to trine the prime ministers Mercury and also Venus and the Sun. That will be in the next year, but it will come close enough, about up to 25 degrees, and that will be within orb of a trine to these planets. So and Saturn is now, as you can see, it's right on the fifth house cusp, so that also means that in the next year the Prime Minister will have his second Saturn return. It'll be a very interesting phase for him, super important phase. So right, so he's now entering a new phase with Saturn changing house and moving into the fifth house. So potentially that could bring back a bit of the old Boris, the one who's more of a fun person, a rebellious person, person who also stands up for what he believes in, and is just a stronger personality, a stronger well, obviously the fifth house is the house of Leo, where we can be our, you know, most charismatic self, where we can find a stage where we can present ourselves. Maybe he will find like a new sort of stage that he can return to, and well, he will be well received, provided that he changes his behavior. And I think Jupiter will strongly push him towards that way. Will also probably push him towards telling the truth, and also maybe changing his tactics as well. Maybe there with Jupiter Saturn, and then the sextile, Jupiter sextile, that will be quite soon in the next month, when Jupiter reaches the sextile to natal Jupiter. I think this would be an important phase as well. And I think there is a chance. You see, transiting Venus also trining Pluto here. That rules the second house of values. So there may be a voice, a little, even small voice, but there may be a voice inside him that says, right, we can still kind of save this, and we can kind of turn all this huge mess around, this really sticky situation he's finding himself in, and can still learn something from it. And also maybe this will also be really a positive response to what this current investigation will, you know, reveal. If he can act in a, you know, in a truthful way, not try to defend himself when it's clear that he's been at fault and so forth. So there I see the possibility that he could manage, if he makes an effort, he could manage to turn this around. Probably have to wait and see what comes out of this investigation. And yeah, we can see the cosmos is actually give some really positive clues here. Yeah, probably Saturn now in the fifth will put him on, yeah, it's a stage, but also Saturn is about being under scrutiny, right? It's about, so he has to prove, he has to really prove that he can be this reliable, this strong leader again, that is not afraid of standing up to the establishment, of defending what he believes in, of definitely defending the rights and the freedoms of the British people. Very interestingly, you probably know that the UK chart, of 1801, also has the ascendant on almost the same degree, and has Venus in Aquarius in the fifth house at about 16 degrees, I believe. So Saturn will, transiting Saturn will be on the UK's Venus as well. And right now the leader of the UK is kind of also a representative of that Venus, right? So it's very much, it still is a question about values, and it's also value about freedom, and maybe there have to be some fundamental changes. And that is like the proposition that Jupiter is like an invitation that Jupiter is extending to this Uranus, right? If we make some drastic changes here, we can actually turn this around. So it's probably also a question of, do we believe we can? Do we want it? But it looks, overall, it looks pretty good, I believe. I think there is still a chance. Yeah, it does not look like someone about to resign. Big challenge, but he can weather the storm. Weather the storm. If he does not continue to betray his own values here with the Venus Venus Pluto trine. Yeah, Venus Pluto. Don't betray your own values. You have to be 100%, and then so that's probably just the question. Something that needs to be straightened out here. Yeah, so I think it looks really interesting. Let's see how it all plays out. Perhaps I'm going to do an update. I just thought this was a good moment to look at the situation, especially with that Venus here, very, very dominant, and it really exact square to the ascendant. So this is almost him like being, he was in limbo, right? You know, during this Venus being kind of not moving. He was kind of in limbo, and I think now he's got the opportunity to move forward again, but it has to be with integrity, and it has to be based on honesty, and if he can do that, yeah, perhaps not all will be lost. Okay, folks, thank you so much for listening. I hope this was enlightening, and I'll see you again very soon. Please leave me a like and a comment, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, for more practical astrology for you. Bye bye, until next time.